Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bill, I'm the Fox Body Phantom, and thanks for checking out our channel. Our channel's all about everything car all over New England, right? Car shows, Jeep events, truck events, everything that's out there for the car hobby, we're here to share with you. Today, we're in Bellingham, Mass at O'Reilly Auto Parts, which is a grand opening for this location, and we're here to talk about their car show. I don't expect a huge turnout today. It is a smaller car show, free to get in. They have like 3 trophies, but there is some really cool stuff here today. I'm going to go around and share it with you. We'll come back at the end and give you some of our thoughts, a few of our favorite cars. So we'll talk to you in just a bit. The first car we're going to talk about is this absolutely stunning 1970 Cutlass with the W31 package. So you guys have heard me talk about previously the package for the W30 and the 442. That's the big block package. That would give you the more aggressive transmission, the higher rear end gear ratio, or rear end gear ratio, however you want to look at it. This was designed to be for the small block. So think about the 350 cars, no red inner fender wells. You know, kind of on the W30, one of the easiest way to see it was that red inner fender well. I've talked about a few on the 442s. This was designed with the small block, lumpier cam, more aggressive, up to like about to 6,000 RPM. Again, super aggressive rear end ratios. Like the factory options on the W31 were like 392 or 411s. More aggressive transmission setup. This car was designed to be kind of more of a small block screamer, something that was designed to be really quick and fast for that more youth-oriented buyer, if you think about it, right? So again, a great example to kind of compare this to would be a Roadrunner or a GTO Judge, something that was designed to appeal to a younger audience. It also did get the dual snorkel hood scoop on this, which is similar to what you'd have in the 442. I think it looks great. This is a beautiful color on this car, and we're really lucky today. We have great weather, like the best weather for a show so far this year by far. And this is just a really beautiful version of that 70 Cutlass. Now, you'll see in here a couple of things. Obviously, the high back buckets and the white vinyl. We do have the Hurst shifter with the automatic, which is really common. Hurst and Oldsmobile did a ton of stuff together. You know, they had the Hurst Olds in '68 and then in '83 and '84. They used to do the Miss Hurst competition. Oldsmobile was a huge part of sponsoring that. Cutlass was such a dynamic car, and I think about with Oldsmobile, and it's a shame they went away. As a kid, for most of my life as a kid, the Cutlass was the best-selling car in America through the 70s, through the 80s. I mean, they just sold so well. And then they I think it was 87 or 88, they went to a front drive version of the Cutlass, which still sold well, but it kind of lost the soul of what it was. To me, it was always crazy. You know, the best-selling car in America was a two-door coupe made by Oldsmobile, and everybody had a Cutlass. My first car was a 78. All of my friends either had a Cutlass for their first car. It was just such... it was a car that was everywhere. Everybody owned a version of the Cutlass, and everybody loved the Cutlass. And again, I think this is where they absolutely hit their pinnacle. I mean, look at the style in this car. A couple of things. That hood scoop is incredible. That rear fender setup with just that line on the fender to break up the body lines, the wing, the absolute right stripe on the side, just the 2 stripes on the hood, nothing over the back like the Chevelles would have. There's a beautiful Chevelle here. We'll go talk about that. It's a 70, so it's a really good comparison to this Cutlass, but just an absolutely stunning version of a 70 Cutlass with that W31 package, which is a little different than that W30 package in the 4. All right, I'm gonna shoot this 94 AM General military truck, M931. This brings back really big memories for me. This is the trucks that were in service when I was in the military. I got out in 1994. And this one's pretty cool. This is what they call a 5-ton. I was just talking to the owner. I never was around the 5 tons when I was younger, only because we were in the deuce and halves. I was infantry. In infantry, we obviously didn't spend a lot of time in the really big vehicles. We'd have the deuce and halves that would take us everywhere. The troop, kind of more troop transport, so the smaller version of these. But this is an Allison 5-speed automatic transmission, 8.3 liter diesel motor. It does weigh under 26,000 pounds, so it does not need a CDL license. So if you want something fun to kind of play around with and take to the different shows, and you don't need a special license, you can get something like this, which is super cool. These trucks, again, 6-wheel drive. Again, when you look in the military vehicles, no creature comforts. These are just incredibly utilitarian, which is awesome. That's what it should be, right? These were designed to haul stuff in troops across a wide area in a battlefield, off bad roads, but it looks super cool. And again, you don't see them a ton, and I was just kind of walking over and taken aback from the 94, because like I said, this would have been the same time frame that I was in. So very cool to see it. Never got a chance to ride in one when I was here, but cool to see one here today. The shoot up here is this 55 Chevy. I got a chance to talk to the owner. He's a veteran. We just had a great conversation. This is a cool car. A couple of reasons. One is it is a manual 4-speed. It does have an 87 Corvette motor in it, so the L98. Like 245 horse, 300 foot-pounds of torque. Plenty of power for this car. And again, it's been customized with the larger wheels. They look good on the car. Orange and white, so just a throwback 55. Great driver street rod that you can go out and enjoy. And again, the interior is pretty nice. It does have like more modern sport seats. Got the new modern steering wheel, some updated gauges. So it's just a cool version of a 55. And you know, I'm not usually a big fan of the newer wheels, but what I like on this car, especially with the way the rear quarters are set up, the wheels fit in perfectly, right? So they actually look great in here. It almost looks like an old school like fender skirt that they'd have on these cars, but this looks great. And again, the 55 I think is such an underrated body style. I get the 57 gives everybody the love. 56 just kind of lost in the mix in the Tri-5s, but I really like the style in the 55, and it's cool in the you know, the dual color combo. So wanted to share this one, and again, thank you for your service, sir. Very cool. Up here is this 2020 Supra. The Supra came back to a lot of fanfare with this generation right around 2020. It was very interesting, right? The Supra is such a beloved car. When you think about like the Fast and the Furious movies and everybody with the JDM scene, the Supra was like the ultimate version of it, right? You have that and the GTRs from Nissan, and those kind of were the big dogs. And so Supra, you know, Toyota worked with BMW and came out with this version of the car, and it was a little controversial when it came out. I should actually say it was a lot controversial. You know, people were upset that it wasn't a Toyota. It had a lot of basically the BMW underpinnings. But I think it was a great looking car. You know, I think as they've come along, they've also added a manual transmission option back in. When it first came out, there was only an automatic transmission option, which again, people were upset. They wanted to be more of a purist car. But it's a great performance car. I've seen these competing against like the newer 5.0 Coyotes and the Nissan Zs, and they do very well, right? The power to weight ratio is great on these cars. They look great. They handle great. And again, I think, you know, again, people have to kind of adapt that we're going to have these collaborations. We've always had them over the years. And I think they did a nice job with this car. You know, I know it hasn't sold as well as I think Toyota wanted it to, which is a shame. Because again, I think we need that JDM market to have these, you know, more actual high performance version of these Japanese cars to keep that hobby alive. And they're a big part of what they do. So again, cool car. I wish it would continue to do more. I think Toyota's going in the right direction with some of the newer stuff that's coming out there. Like I said, the updated versions, more power, manual transmission, different options. So very cool version of a modern Japanese sports car. And again, I think it's super underrated. I think in the future, these cars are going to be a lot more revered than they are today. So we have this 57 Chevy. Cool for a couple of reasons. One, the flat black paint looks great on it. That contrast with the white roof. Obviously the silver kind of Cove style on the back. I like the Rally Sport wheels with the red line tires. I like the Hot Wheels badge, but I love the side exhaust on the car. This gives me a true old school hot rod vibe, and I'm all in for it. And it also is a manual. They've kept the gauges, obviously added some newer gauges, but kept the original gauges in the car. So this again is a great fun driver, just like that 55 we saw. You guys hear me talk all the time about drivers, and I love drivers. The car right next to it is a show car, and I'm going to talk about that truck in just a second. But the benefit to a driver is you can go and take it anywhere. You don't worry about it, right? We've talked about this a million times. You want to go to dinner with the wife, you want to take the kids, the grandkids, you'll get an ice cream, you throw everybody in the car, it's a driver's car, you're not freaking out, you're not worried about every scratch and ding, you just get to go out and enjoy the car. But in Hot Rod Black, this is, again, I think a super cool version of a car that you just kept simple. It looks great, it gives you exactly what you want to have, and that side exhaust and Hot Wheel badge looks super cool. So a very cool driver 57 Chevy. You got it. All right guys, so we're gonna shoot this 93 Notchback. Super cool car. They were heading out, so I got them right before they left, but I wanted to share this, and I got a chance to talk to the owner. Very cool story. I bought the car, originally a 4-cylinder coupe. Bought it from a drag racer. We put a kind of an aggressive 302. The car now has a 351 punched out to 408, about 475 horse, 410 gears, 5-speed manual, 5-lug conversion. You know, with the well drag lights, which look great on the car. Upgraded instrument cluster, kind of Recaro sport seats. I love the 5-speed transmission. It looks super beefy in the car. And, you know, these notches have gotten a lot of love. You can see under the hood, like, everything has been done. You know, you can see, like, the billet camber plates. You can see that the Ford, you know, valve covers, the Ford racing valve covers, the small air cleaner. Just a really cool version of this car. I like the hood pins. This is a really clean version of a drag notchback, which is awesome. So I wanted to share this one before we headed out because it's just a really, really super clean, and it looks great in this color. All right, one of the prettiest trucks up here by far is this 55 Chevy 3100 in the blue and black. Absolutely stunning. Everything, again, you look at the chrome, everything you see in the truck. Under the hood looks just as good as it does everywhere else. It has a beautiful bed. I love the wheels on the truck. This is just a really nice version of this truck. I've become a really big fan of these mid-50s trucks. Actually, all the 50s trucks I think look great. This is a really nice hot rodded version, but it looks still factory enough. You can see, you know, the exhaust cutouts on the side, the little more aggressive rear tires. Like I said, the beautiful wooden bed on this truck looks stunning. And just a great color combo. Hopefully you can see the blue better back here against the black, which is a little tougher to see on some of the areas, but it looks great. And you can see great looking interior on the truck, right? You know, more very original looking seats. Obviously we've upgraded the gauges, but in a way that actually makes sense. They actually look good on the truck. The steering wheel looks fairly original. And it looks like it's an automatic, but just a great looking version of a 55 truck. The car right next to us is a 41 Willys. Now these cars are awesome. You know, everybody builds gassers out of these, and I can see why. You can see the giant blower on it. I bet it's an 871. It looks like an 871 blower. Again, traditional style mag wheels that you see on a lot of these Willys in black. The interior looks great on the car. This one is a manual, again, which you very rarely ever see. You know, I write bar speedometers all the time. If bar speedometers always looked as cool as this one did, I would never complain. That speedometer is so nicely integrated into this car. And again, these cars just get so much love because of the style, and rightfully so. These 41 Willys just absolutely look the part. They look great, super cool. The next car we're going to shoot up here is this 1970 Coronet. Got a chance to talk to the owner. Car is very original. Again, a driver, you know, we can see some of the patina, you know, a little bit of surface rust, some paint fading through. But what was interesting on this car is it's got very much a highway gear, like a 293 rear end, torque flight 727. But what I found interesting, most of these Coronet 500s were the small block V8, so the 318. This one actually has a 383, which is super cool. And I like the front end on these. Obviously, you'd see the front end that'd be similar like on the Supra Bs and stuff. This one looks great. And I'm a fan. Again, I told you guys, like, again, there's nothing better than a great driver's car that you can go take anywhere. I've talked about it a couple of times today. But having a driver's car, you don't have to worry about it. You know, his goal on this whole thing is to keep it as original as possible while maintaining it. Which, again, I get it. It's you know, only original once. And the reality is, on a car like this, while it's a nice car, to restore this car to where it needs to get to, you're never going to get the money back on it. So keep it original, enjoy it. You got the 383, the big motor. You've got, you know, the 727, which is just such a robust transmission. It's never going to break down on you. You've got highway gear, so you can go out and cruise. Very cool. Now, this car is interesting. 1948 Ford Coupe. All in stainless, it looks like, or just, it's whatever it is. It's been all brushed metal. No paint over it. It's just so unique looking. Again, I wish I could describe it in a better way, but it looks so cool, right? And again, a very old school hot rod, a lot of patina on it. You can see a little areas of surface rust, a little rusting through. But you go the old school, like the blankets, more modern bucket seats, a modern steering wheel with the original gauges, a really simple shift mechanism with no console. Like, this is a very cool, just a really cool hot rod. Like, again, something you can get in and drive. Like, that's the big thing with this show today. There's a lot of stuff that are just, let's go enjoy it, let's go drive it, have fun with it, not worry a ton about it. I think this is super cool. And again, something I really haven't seen with just, you know, the brushed metal that looks awesome on the car. Now, if we want something right here, we have a gorgeous 1956 Pontiac. Guys, when you look at these and you start to think about the Pontiac versus the Chevy, you can see the body lines are slightly different. You can tell it's a 56. I mean, the 56 on these GM cars all look pretty similar. But again, this is the Chieftain. Again, love the SS wheels on it. Love the color combo with the blue and silver. But again, those Pontiac fins are just so different than what you'd have on the Chevys, right? As you're going back and taking a look, just a completely different style, different taillights. Love the interior on these cars. Now, I've always said was always interested to me in these cars with the bucket seats with a manual transmission. You can see like you are right up against the seat. I always was like, man, I've always wondered why they would do that and make it a little more challenging to shift. But I've talked to a lot of guys that have it, and they say, you know what, it doesn't really matter. I don't have any issue with it. It doesn't give me any problems. So again, if it works, it works, but it's just, it's so cool. And again, great color on this. It looks great. And that silver and blue work really well together. Really quickly, what on our two guys, a Massachusetts car club, excuse me. So we've got Mike and his dad. His dad's one owner, 93, 4-cylinder. Owned it forever, love the 10-hole wheels, I've talked about it. And then Mike's SN95, who we got a couple years ago, that's continuing to move it forward. We've also shot this 80 Camaro a couple of times at a couple of different shows. So they're here again today, enjoying the heck out of the car. Awesome for them. I'm gonna go back in just a second and dive into this 1970 Chevelle SS Tuxedo Black, cowl induction hood, 396, 15-inch SS wheels, SS interior. This one is an automatic with that shopping basket style shifter. Again, as you look as an SS, this is exactly what you'd want out of an SS. Super basic, but in all the right ways, right? Everything you'd expect out of an SS. And I shouldn't use the word basic, but I guess I'd say what you'd expect out of an SS of this year from 70. The racing stripes that go on the trunk and on the hood, but not over the top. The 15-inch 5-spoke wheels, actually might be even 14-inch 5-spoke wheels with the SS center caps, the SS gauges, the cowl induction hood. Very cool car, one of my favorite cars of all time. Absolutely love Chevelles, and happy to share this one with you guys. Now, I don't think I've covered my car this year, so let's do it really quickly. I have my 88 Fox body up here, 29,900 miles. I hit 29.9 today. I will not hit 30,000 on the ride home because it's like 30 miles away, but I'm getting really close, guys. Again, correct 15-inch wheels, all original interior minus the radio, super clean. Like I said, like I call it like my day two car. Everything you would expect to see out of a used car if you went to buy one in 1988 or 1989 with, 29,000 miles. Super original. Again, the party trick on the car for this one, if you see it in a show, no rear window defroster because it came out of Arizona. Everything is as it should be. Super fun. I love my Fox, and I don't give enough love. Couple more cars here. We have this unbelievable 2018 Corvette Z06 with the Z07 package, like 650 horsepower. Color is beautiful on the car. Love the wheels. Love the giant soldered and drilled rotors. I think about, so I had a boss I worked with who had one of the Z06s, and we would talk all the time. And this car was just a monster, like performance-wise. And I know we have the new Z06s with the C8s and the new ZR1 and all this stuff. Like the ZR1 of this generation would have like 750 horsepower or 762. This was like 650 horse. These cars are monsters, guys. For rear engine, front drive. Again, they did everything they could to get traction to make the cars as drivable as possible. But this was just a monster. And what's great about it too is it's also a cruiser. Like you can get in this car, you can drive it anywhere. It's comfortable. The seats are great. They did such a nice job on the C7. I think they've even done a better job on the C8 of actually creating really nice interiors, which was always kind of the big problem with the Corvettes. Like to me, the C5 and C6 took a huge step back, even from like the C4 on the interiors, but the C7s really stepped up and the C8s have done a great job. But this is a beautiful color in this car. We also have an old Willys Jeep here. This thing's great. I think about when I share these cars with you guys, they're just super utilitarian. They can go anywhere. There's not a lot to them, not a lot to break down. They're just fun. Like these old Jeeps are awesome. And you look at the interior and you see how about as basic as it could get. But remember, these guys didn't have all these crazy lockers and all these different features. They just had a Jeep that you go in, you'd lock the front hub, you'd put it in four-wheel low, and you'd go anywhere because they didn't weigh a whole lot. And they were just designed to have all this articulation. They were incredible. And they take a look at the exhaust placement right here, up high under the passenger side, so it's going to give you more body clearance underneath to give you a better approach and departure angle. So just a really cool old Jeep. The last car I see up here is this 2021 Ford F-150. So this truck is a rugged ridge truck, giant lift, big wheels, Fox shocks, similar to what I have on my Gladiator. Love the orange. Looks great in this color. Just a nice looking F-150, right? A lifted truck, a little more aggressive, like the wheels, like I said, like the lift, the Fox shocks. Very cool, newer F-150 cars that came into. We have the 72 Cutlass. 442 badging. Owner was very straight up. It's not a 442 car, but all original 442 parts on the car. I've talked about these a lot. What I really like on the Cutlasses, and what I think Oldsmobile did better than most, was, you know, the body color match wheels, which look great. The Rocket 350 is such a good motor. We were just talking, this is a 4-speed, but it's geared with like a 373 rear end. And he's saying like it's not a good highway car. Like he's at, you know, 3,200 RPM at 60 miles an hour, and the car's just screaming because it's not a high revving motor. So the only thing we said he would do potentially was go in and switch the gearing on the car. I think it looks great. You know, that 4-speed manual. The Oldsmobiles were just really nice, like cruisers too. Like you looked at the interior on these, it was slightly upmarket from Chevy. So you look at it, you know, obviously it was below Buick, but upmarket from Chevy. So really nice interior, kind of those wood touches. This one's got convertible with manual roll-up windows. The really nice gauges on the car. This is an air-conditioned car too, which in a convertible is pretty rare, right? They didn't do a lot of air-conditioned convertibles because it was kind of, hey, if you're gonna drop the top, why you need air conditioning? But a very nice version of this car. But the car next to it is the one I want to shoot. It's pretty neat. 85 Monte Carlo SS. This one has a ZZ4 motor, 355 horse. It is a 350, 355 horse. But what you can tell on these, on the 85s, and this is what I saw when he came in, 85 was a pretty unique year. This was the first year they changed over to these graphics. So this would be the Monte SS graphics that would stay through 88, but this is the last year of this version of these wheels, right? So it was more like the Berlinetta style Camaro wheel with a chrome trim ring and a center cap. The next year they would go into like the more IROC style wheels. This one is super clean and black. I love, you know, the red and yellow graphics that go on, or red and orange. Looks great, and this one's very clean. Also, as you look at the interior, again, another version. I talk about this all the time. Most of these cars with that, like that red velour interior, the Monte gauges, you know, console shifter, the Monte SS steering wheel. So just a cool version of this car. And we were just joking, you know, these cars weren't fast back in the day, but they were everywhere. Everybody had a Monte SS, and unfortunately, they were also relatively easy to steal, so these got stolen more than anything. I had a good friend of mine growing up. His family had a bunch of Montes, and they kept getting stolen because it was just an easy car to take. But man, it's just a great looking car, and again, in the black, with these 85 wheels, which have grown on me a ton. When they were new, I didn't love them. I prefer the IROC wheel. This just looks really cool. So very cool 85 Monte SS, and a really nice 72 Cutlass right next to it. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today. Great little turnout here. Again, O'Reilly's Auto Parts up here in Bellingham. This is their grand opening weekend. They soft opened over the winter, but, you know, come up. Again, support these local businesses that are supporting the hobby. If you need something, come grab something from these guys. Great little show. We may get over to another show later on today. If you're seeing this, it might not come out till tomorrow. But there's a little cruise that up in Millis. I believe tomorrow shows both Lars Anderson American Car Day and Mustang Car Club of New England up in Chelmsford are probably going to get canceled because of weather. We're expecting rain, so that's unfortunate. But, you know, we appreciate all of you for checking out the channel. If you haven't done it so far, please hit that subscribe button. Really close to 1,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of you. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you at the next show. Potentially, I'm thinking it's either going to be Millis tonight or it's going to be Bass on Thursday.